家好，欢迎收看今天的全球瞭望，我是郭崇伦。我们今天要访问的是2006年诺贝尔和平奖的得主尤努斯教授，他最近来台湾来谈他的社会企业。Professor Jonas, thank you for accepting the interview.
Thank you for inviting me.
First of all, I'd like to begin with you are paying a lot of attention to the poor in the developing countries. Now we are seeing even in the developed countries, rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. How come this had become like this? What happened to the wealth that people had generated?
My work started with breaking the wall of the financial system,
Right.
so that the service of the financial system could be provided to the extremely poor people, particularly even the extreme poor women. And we did that, and it worked. Traditionally, it was argued that it cannot be done, banking cannot be done with the poor people because they are not creditworthy and all that. We saw that this is all kind of a made-up story.
Mm-hmm.
The real story is people need the money, they want to use the money, they will pay back, they want to pay interest. And that's why the Grameen Bank came up. The bank that we created in Bangladesh started in one village, became nationwide bank, focusing on the poor women and so on. And this became known as microcredit, spread around the world. But I became very integrated in the whole idea of helping people get out of poverty. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Then we saw no matter what you do, there's an extreme powerful mechanism which pushes them back into poverty.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to explain it by saying poverty is not created by individual person. It's not their fault. Poverty is created by the system that we created. So we have to look at the system, where we have put the seeds of poverty in that system. So that drew my attention, and I saw the income inequality became a big issue. And researchers have been showing that income inequality is getting worse and worse every day. Then I saw this system in a more close way, that the capitalist system that we built basically is built on the greed.
Mm-hmm.
The assumption is everybody has a self-interest to promote oneself and make himself enriched by that. So use that capacity to enrich yourself, to come to the economy and draw resources for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that idea behind the capitalist system, all the institutions which are built is to promote that.
Mm-hmm.
So we build the financial institutions to support the big and the rich.
Mm-hmm.
So the richer you are, more facility you get from the financial system, so that you can become richer.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't exist for the poor people. No, when I say poor people, it's actually bottom half of the entire population of the world. For them, banking system doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the mismatch. So the resources keep piling up at the top, and now you have an extreme kind of wealth concentration. It's a ballooning at the top in the hands of very few people. Less than 1% of the people of the world own more wealth than the bottom 50% of the world. And it gets worse. And the new income that is generated in the economies, almost 80% of the new income and new wealth goes to top 1%. So if that is the nature of the capitalist system, you cannot escape from the ballooning of wealth. And that creates a difference between the society of the top and the society at the bottom or in the middle. So that gets expressed in political terms, dissatisfaction, conflicts, unhappiness. So I said this continuous wealth concentration is basically a time bomb. It can explode anytime.
But let me interrupt.
Yeah.
But before the financial crisis in 2008, the capitalist system was considered a motivation based on greed, but it will make you work harder, it will make you successful. But after 2008, everyone starts to look at there's a fundamental flaw in the capitalist system.
Exactly.
And the 99% is always in the bottom, and the 1% is always on the top. Why is it there's a shift of attitude before and after 2008?
2008, you got caught. Basically, you are doing it, but nobody saw it. Suddenly it became revealed. In a very naked way, everybody saw what the nature of the capitalist system is. You are calling it a bank. You are calling it an investment farm, but actually what you're doing is a gambling casino.
Right.
You're running a casino. So in the name of banking, you're really betting on the future without having anything to do with the economy at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that brought the crisis in 2008. It was hidden. There was a kind of a curtain behind which you're operating. Suddenly the curtain was gone because you got into real mess. You couldn't continue with that anymore because the resources were not there. Government had to bail you out. And then government has to come up with a policy. You're too big to fail, so we have to, it's our responsibility to keep our life. All kinds of things which are not acceptable to anybody. That revealed how weak the system is, how vulnerable the system is. Then they started looking at the flaws, how to do that. But they are looking for the cure for that, but nobody has found it out yet. So that's where we come with an idea that we have developed without knowing this problem. While we are working with the poor women, and we developed something, we thought this could be applied in this situation. So we are simply bringing what we have gained over the last 40 years, bringing to the situation. Look, we have been doing it in Bangladesh. The system doesn't have to be like this way. You misinterpreted human beings in your theory. You assume that human beings are greedy people. They only work for selfish nature. Because you are selfish, you want to accumulate. I said, that's the wrong interpretation of a human being. But the whole capitalist system basically started with that proposition. I said, real human being is selfish as well as selfless, as strong as one can be. So it's an amalgam of two basic nature of human being. But the capitalist system used only one aspect, removed the other aspect. And that's where it went wrong, created this whole system that we are talking about. So I'm only adding the selfless part. I'm not imposing anything. I'm not asking the government to make a new law. I'm saying, look, human being, you have two aspects inside of you. You're using one, you're not using the other. You can use the other and feel as equally happy, maybe more happy. And I keep saying that making money is a happiness. That's why you're happy by making money. You didn't know that making other people happy is a super happiness. I'm only drawing attention to that. You want to be happy? So this is a choice for you. Whether you want to make happy by making money, whether you want to be happy by making other people happy. You have two choices. Make your pick. So this is what we're trying. It's difficult to explain this to the mature people who have been in business for a long time. But it's so much easy for young people to understand that. They immediately understand what we're talking about. They immediately choose the other path. Yes, I want to do this. I don't want to accumulate things for myself. I want to see who I am, what contribution I can make for the rest of the world. And that's my success. As a human being, I have done something which has helped the whole planet to be better.
The method you are proposing, one is micro-lending. This had you been quite successful in developing countries. And there's another concept you are using, social business. Is it more applicable to the developed country nowadays, or is it?
Let me put it in two ways. One, microcredit is one form of social business. As I said, I was doing this, then I saw that it has a general nature.
Right.
So we put from the microcredit, we went to the general idea, which is the social business. I'll explain how each one. Microcredit was a financial service, but with the idea that we are helping the poor people to get out of poverty. We got into microcredit not to make money for ourselves. We never wanted to have a penny out of that business. We wanted to help other people to become better off, and the whole business runs as a business. So that's the business we started calling, in a general way, social business. Business to solve other people's problems rather than make money for yourself. We applied it in the case of microcredit. We can apply it in any way. So this is one type of answer. Another one is that microcredit works only for the developing countries. We have been working all over Europe from the very beginning. There are microcredit programs in France, all over France. There are microcredit programs in Sweden, in Norway, all over Norway. So it's there. And then we started microcredit program in the USA. They have been telling us that, well, microcredit is good, but it doesn't work in the United States. It's too rich a country. People don't need it. People are not used to this kind of ideas. And we tried and we failed. I said, you can fail every time. That doesn't mean it doesn't work. It only means that you didn't know how to do it. So they invited me to do it. So we started it in 2008 in Jackson Heights in New York, and it became very successful. So with the beginning of that, now they want more and more branches within New York. We have 8 branches in New York right now, 18 branches all over the United States, in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Houston, and many other cities. We have over 70,000 women borrowers. 100% of them are women, 70,000 of them. They take tiny loans. Initial loans will be something like $1,500, and they start earning money and paying back the bank. So far, we have given over $500 million worth of loan to these young women. And they've been very successful. Repayment rate is near 100%, 99.5%, 99.6%, and so on for the last 8 years. So it again shows even in the inner cities of the United States, every single city is the same result. It didn't. So we can expand it all over the United States. Simply, we have the limitation of money. We couldn't expand as fast as we wanted to. So that shows that it's a universal idea. So it's not limited to microcredit, not limited to poor countries and so on. Now, social business applies everywhere. Wherever there is a problem, you apply it. Like, for example, in rich countries, in Europe, in USA, there is something called welfare system. If you're poor, you cannot take care of yourself, you're unemployed, government takes care of you, send you a check every month. I said, that's a great idea. You have to help poor people who are in distress. You don't know how to make your life. So government writes you a check and you take care of yourself. You have a house, you have a car, you have TV, and you have your all the food available with the money. I said, that is a temporary solution. As a temporary solution, it's okay. But as a permanent solution, it's not okay. Because these people become dependent on government charity. Charity doesn't help people to stand on their feet. Charity only takes care of you in terms of distress. But you have to make sure that you help enough so that they can stand on their feet and move on. That's what the human being is all about. I said, welfare system, if it goes beyond a limit, is a wrong system. So we come back. What do? Create social business. Help them to start their own life. Make them entrepreneurs. All human beings are entrepreneurs. You assume that they have to be a job seeker. I said, that's the wrong idea. Human beings are entrepreneurs. Basically, that's our history says. For millions of years, we lived in this planet. We are not looking for jobs from each other. When we were in the caves, we are not sending job applications. We just became go-getters and problem solvers. So human beings are problem solvers. Human beings are go-getters. Human beings are creative people. But by giving them a job, you blunted their creativity. Because jobs means limited creativity. Job means end of creativity. So that's not human life. So why don't we come out of it? Then the whole capitalist system becomes completely different.
Let me propose another alternative. You just said welfare system is not going to work. Some economists, like the French economist Piketty, had proposed they should use a tax system. It's an incremental income tax that it can extract those extra wealth that the rich people is getting. Do you think that's a good idea?
Well, as a proposition, sounds very good. But the practicality of it, it's two things. When you are extremely rich, this 1% in the society, 1% in Taiwan, 1% in USA, who own half of the wealth of the whole country, you are saying that the government will be now taxing them. Who is the government? If you are concentration of wealth, this is also concentration of power.
Right.
So you're not saying that they will impose taxes on themselves. They control the politics, they control the government, they control everything. Not by directly saying you control it. Mechanism as such because you are dependent on them. So there's very little slim chance that any government will ever come up with a program which will take away by government law taking away their resources. You can't do that. Even if you do it, some very revolutionary leader came and did it, the next government will have to go undo the whole thing in various explanations in a cloudy way, the politicians' way. They will go back to make the people happy. So I don't see this as a practical solution. Even if you do that, suppose you succeeded in a marginal way, resources came to the government. Is the government good enough to take this resource to people? In which way? Write a check? As I said, writing a check is bad practice. You have to make the person creative. So that's where the financial system is the most important thing, not the government charity check. Charity has only one-time use of the money. You give the money, they consume it, they use it up, and next day they come back and ask for more money. That's not a solution. That's only hiding the solution because you don't make it visible. I give the welfare, people are having cars and televisions and houses and so on. They don't look like poor people, but they are poor people. They don't do anything for themselves. You just take money from somebody else, give it to them. So that's a wrong solution, and this is a counterproductive solution. So I'm saying that the basic thing is to make them entrepreneurs. They can create businesses. They can create things for themselves. They contribute to the economy. That's what every single human being is all about, is somebody who can contribute to the rest of the world. That you are not allowing them. So this is not a good system.
Like you just said, if the government do not do anything and this income difference will become greater and greater, there's political consequences.
Very much.
We are seeing that already, for instance, in the U.S. election right now, there's a strong revolt coming from the 99%. Would you care to elaborate on that?
You see, I was explaining that this income concentration is a ticking time bomb. It will show up sooner or later. It started getting discomforts in the society in political terms and social terms. There'll be social conflict, there'll be local conflict. They will give a shape to it in nature, but they don't know what's happening. They blame you, this guy in front of me. I blame him for my mishap and so on. And that's what's happening in the US election. You see, Donald Trump became a big champion, saying what? We will not let anybody come into our country. Mexicans will build walls. Muslims, you're not allowed. Immigrants will have to have an extreme check. Meaning that they are the one who are taking our money. That's not true. You're simply blaming somebody else what is happening inside of you. This is one political expression, then the guy become a champion of people who feel frustrated with that. And it's not limited to USA alone. Look at what happened to UK. Brexit. What is the message of Brexit? We don't want to be in Europe. Why? Because East Europeans come, take our jobs. Because all the immigrants are coming, they take our jobs. Same logic. So they said, no, we cut it off. And they did it. That's what the Brexit is all about. These are all wrong direction. Coming from one thing, that I don't have enough. I see everybody has enough, I don't have enough. So I feel terrible that my government is not supporting me. They are allowing people to come take away my job, my money, and so on and so forth. This is all because we have plenty of wealth, but all wealth is locked up. All the capacity is locked up in few hands. Unless we unleash that, let people share that, not because government will redistribute it. This will never happen. Even the communists couldn't do that. They made a mess out of it. So how do you do that? This is one way. It has to come back to the theory which created this mess to find out the flaw, where it went wrong, so that you can do it within the structure that we already developed, but now in a different way. What am I saying? I'm saying you do the business as you do, but create a social business on the side. So that wealth that you have accumulated can also be used for solving problems, not just for yourself. You bring that wealth to other people. And we are saying you become an entrepreneur, not a job seeker. We are not job seekers, we are job creators. If I and you and my children, everybody's children become entrepreneurs, we share the wealth. What job means? Job means I'm working for somebody else. Who is this somebody else? This is one of those 1%. That's what we are working on. So in a way, different shapes and types of businesses, but ultimately if you're owning 99% of the wealth or 90% of the wealth, all these companies linked with you, either through investment funds or whatever mechanism that financial system has. So I'm working for you. So basically those who are working, and everybody, all of us are working, our children are working for making 1% rich and richer. So we are mercenaries. So we became mercenaries for income concentration. So I said, why don't you change that? We don't want to be mercenaries for income wealth concentration. We want to make wealth for ourselves. If all of us are dedicated to making wealth for ourselves, the concentration is over. That's the whole point.
Let me ask you another thing. That during the election, there's always talk about outsourcing job to the developing countries. And my question is, sometimes the politician would turn this country, the jobs or the working people in the United States, turn against a developing country, the country perhaps the garment factory in Bangladesh. So how do you, in your theory or your method or your scheme, how can you resolve those kind of antagonism or differences between developing and the developed economy?
Why do they have to produce the garment to Bangladesh, not produce it in their own country? Because labor is cheaper here.
Right.
Why these people have to volunteer themselves, work for them, not work for themselves? Why do they work for them? They know everything. The shirt I'm wearing is made by them. And anybody else is wearing shirt in the USA is made by them. Why can't they sell it in themselves? Because people are concentrating with the wealth. I don't have that money to set it up. So I don't have it. I can only produce it for you. In order to market it, I need a giant kind of operation to make it economically viable for me. Financial institutions will not open the door for me. If I'm an unemployed young people, just an example, if I'm an unemployed young person in the USA, rich country in the world, and I have a brilliant business idea, everybody's convinced this idea is beautiful, and I take this business to any bank or the biggest bank in the country. Here is my business plan, and I've checked with everybody. Everybody says it's foolproof, it can be done. Give me the money so that I can start. Would anybody in the world will give the money? No, never. Nobody will finance an unemployed young person, no matter how brilliant thing you have. So ultimately he has to find a job with somebody else. He'll be an office boy or something, whatever he could do, fit into the job, so on. So the financial system actually calls the tune for everybody.
Okay.
So if we have the financial system in our favor, we'll be producing it, marketing it. That's my point. So whether they will do it in Bangladesh or somewhere else, this is the necessity of the system right now. No matter what the politicians will say, they will come back, they get elected, and the companies still continue to produce things in Bangladesh, and there will some token factories in their own country show that I'm trying to do something about it. Because the necessity of the financial rules or business rules will make it cheaper to do it there rather than do it here. People will say, why should I buy from you? I can buy it cheaper from here. So it will continue to do that. That's not my point. I'm not trying to solve that problem. I'm trying to solve the fundamental problem. Why don't we do it? From Bangladesh, we are the one who sell the garments in the whole world. Why an American company has to do it? Why an European company has to do it? Because they control the money. We don't have the control of the money. So if the door of the financial system is open, they will be the one who will be doing the jobs. So the concentration of wealth will not be located in those countries. It will be diversified. Then we are saying, why are you working in the factory? You know how to do the job. Why don't you sell it yourself? He said, I don't have the money. I can only work. I said, you'll have the money. Financial institution is right next to you. Come up with the thing. You convince all your friends together. You start your own business. You sell it. Why somebody has to hire you? He knows everything. She knows everything. They are the only one who is kind of taking the sticks around. They don't do anything. So I know the machine. I know the job. I know the design. And I do it. And I continue to do that. I make a partnership with the one who needs the design and so on. So we are a partnership business. I do the production, you do the designing for me. That's all. You have your share, I have my own share. That's the possibility. Once you get away from the only one type of business to make money, and all the financial system is supporting that, we move out. You move out to social business, saying that no, we want to solve the problem. We are a problem-solving company. And the financial institution said, okay, as long as it's a business, you can return the money, I'm with you. Then the problem is gone.
Let me ask you about the case in China. 20 years ago, there's a tremendous people living in poverty in China. But right now, we are seeing a lot of the conditions have been improved. How China can get itself out of those poverty-stricken conditions, and how is your scheme help them in this way?
Yeah. China has done wonderful thing. Millions of people came out of poverty in a very short period of time. They did a good job on that. But what's the next stage? Mm-hmm. Then the next stage, as you're going, you're just imitating the rest of the world. Free market, make money, become billionaires, and take the national market, take the global market, and so on. So you'll have the same problem that everybody else has. Your 1% will control the remaining wealth of the rest of the country. So you have removed the poverty level, picked them up, but you didn't let them go up.
Right.
You just lifted one stage, that's all. This is good. I'm not saying this is bad. This is good. But you stopped there. You imitated the rest. And today, income gap, income inequality in China is worse than income inequality in India. India is a capitalist country. China is supposed to be a communist country. But the income inequality, it puts them in shame, but they can't do anything about it. It looks so odd that under their system, they are having worse income inequality than India. Mm. So these are the questions, the next level questions. What do you do with it? If you continue with this, it will get worse and worse. And the ticking time bomb starts working in there too, same way, because people are feeling unhappy. Why? The guy, we were together. A few years back, we were in the same level. Now suddenly he became a star in the sky. I can only look at him. I can't. He doesn't look like we lived together for a while in our village. Some completely different picture. Those are the things which will become more and more fundamental in the future. And that will impact in the way you think, that will impact the way you deal with your neighbors, deal with the rest of the country. Because you say, why this part of the country is becoming so rich and we are poor? Which was between me and somebody, now it's become a region, it becomes a language, it becomes a subgroup. So tension begins. Because I'm not getting the share that I'm supposed to get. That nobody can escape that.
Finally, I'd like to ask the question about Taiwan. You have been here, this is your third time visit. Right. Did you find that Taiwan had a similar kind of problem that the global have been experiencing, the rich and the poor? And how would your suggestion for Taiwan?
It's a rich country. So all the problems of rich country will be here. I'm assuming, I don't have the statistic, I'm assuming some are extra rich. Mm-hmm. The rest of the country is good, but not, compared to them, it's not equal to them. The gap is wide. And I was just mentioning that even if we run big corporate bodies, one of the issues in the corporate bodies that debated the salary difference between the bottom salary and the top salary. That now is how many times more should be the top salary, etc. Always conscious now, not always, I said some concern is coming that there should be a limit to which how many times the CEO can get compared to the guy at the bottom level. So we're concerned, you want to do something about it. I said, shouldn't we ask the same question about the citizens in a country? What will be the bottom income of the citizen and what will be the top income of the citizen? Shouldn't we say that it should be a multiple of something, not unlimited? That question will keep coming. So probably that question can be raised in Taiwan also. As the point that I'm underlining, Taiwan is a lucky country. Mm-hmm. Lucky country because it's a very well-organized society. You built around yourself and very dedicated, creative people. If with appropriate policy measures, like introducing these ideas which can change things, if you do that, Taiwan can become the first country in the world which brought down all the inequality and became almost like an equal country. It's possible. Mm-hmm. Not because government has a big stick and hitting everybody, because people say, hey, this we can do. It's fun to do that. I enjoy doing that. It's my country, you want to do it, we share it. Share it because I don't write a check to you. I created social businesses. I created funds so that if you have an idea, come on the money, take the money. Change the financial system. Just change the financial system. Everything else will follow. Tell young people, don't look for jobs. No Taiwanese will grow up to take a job. Job is not our future. Entrepreneurship is our future. We tell our children, stop thinking about a job. Start thinking about a business that you want to run. Build a wall. That's it. We have the financial system. So that you become entrepreneur. And tell the whole world this can be done. It's a small country compared to many other big countries. So it can be done easily. And if you put this in place, it's possible. Overnight, you cannot come from a 1% to 99% gap type of thing. But what about 80% to 20, 70% to 30%? And that kind of thing. Direction has changed. If the direction can be changed, the whole world will be pouring over to find out what's happening in this country. Because no country has done that. Even the communist countries failed. All those ideas failed. You have done something. You are extreme capitalist country, but you have done something to your country. You've changed everything. That's possible.
Thank you, Professor Yunus, for the interview and for your advice for Taiwan. Thank you.